The invisible guest, the chair at table 12, dug into Nina's spine like a punishment. She'd known this was a bad idea. Lena's pity invitation, the hissed, just try to look happy as her cousin vanished into a cloud of champagne and influencer. Selfies. Nina tugged at her thrift store silk dress, vintage, not cheap. Though no one here would know the difference, Yan sketched the bride's poodle-faced aunt in her notebook. That's cruel. The voice came from over her shoulder, deep and amused. Nina snapped the book shut, but not before the stranger saw her drawing. Up close, he was unfairly handsome tall, with dark hair that begged to be tugged, and a tuxedo. That cost more than her rent. She looks like that, Nina muttered. She does. The man slid into the empty seat beside her, ignoring the gasps from table 1. Damien. Nina. She eyed his cuffling, Sriel onyx. You're lost. Important people. Sit up front. Important people are boring. He stole a bread roll from her plate. You're the first person here who hasn't mentioned my net worth. That's when she recognized him. Rothschild, the reclusive billionaire whose face splashed across finance. Magazines. Lena's endless rants about the groom's obnoxiously rich best man clicked into place. Nina deliberately turned a page, drawing him as a smug panther.
Enjoy your bread, Damien.
His laugh sent shivers down her spine. The band switched to a slow jazz standard, and Nina seized the chance to escape. She wove through swaying couples toward the terrace, but a hand caught her wrist. Damien's grip was warm, his thumb brushing her pulse point in a way that felt deliberate. Leaving so soon? I don't dance. She tried to pull free, but he stepped closer, close enough for her to smell his cologne. Something dark and expensive with a hint of whiskey. Everyone dances when no one's watching. His voice dropped. And no one's watching us, Nina. Before she could protest, he spun her onto the floor. His palm settled at the small of her back, igniting a trail of fire through the thin silk of her dress. Relax, he murmured against her temple. I don't bite, unless asked, Nina choked on. A laugh. Is this how you seduce all your victims? Cornered them at weddings? Only the ones who draw me as a jungle cat. His fingers traced her spine. Why a panther? Predatory grace. She tilted her head up in the eyes. Always watching. Damien stilled. The music swelled around them, but his gaze held hers unblinking. You have no idea how long I've been watching you. The first Lee later, on the moonlit terrace. Nina sipped stolen champagne, while Damien lit a cigarette. Tell me something real, she said. Not the billionaire bullshit you feed Forbes. He exhaled smoke, considering. I collect first editions of Wuthering Heights. Why? Because Heathcliff was the original self-made man. Smirk. And because it pisses off my father. Nina laughed and froze as he added, I also own Hartwell Publishing. Her glass slipped, shattering on the stones. Hartwell, the company that had rejected her manuscript with a form letter.
I read your book last week.
He stepped closer, crushing the cigarette underfoot. All are broken places. Asterisk, it's brilliant. Asterisk, bullshit. Her voice shook. If you loved it, why reject it? Damien cupped her face. Because I wanted to meet the woman who wrote it. Nina slapped him. The sound echoed. Across the terrace, Damien just grinned, licking blood from his split lip. Now we're getting somewhere. First key ISCS, she didn't know who moved first. One moment they were breathing hard, inches apart. The next, Damien had her pinned against the ivy-covered wall, his mouth claiming hers with a hunger that burned. Away every rational thought, Nina fisted his hair, biting his lower lip in retaliation. He groaned, hands sliding down to grip her thighs. Mr. Rothschild. A waiter cleared his throat. The car's ready. Damien didn't pull away.
Your
place or mine? He murmured against Nina's jaw. She shoved him back, wiping her smudged lipstick. I don't sleep with men who play games with my career. Good. He straightened his tie, eyes gleaming. 'Cause I'd rather discuss your next book over breakfast. He walked away. Nina realized two things. Her dress was torn at the shoulder. She'd left her notebook on the table, and Damien had it. Nina's phone buzzed at 3:17 a.m. Unknown number. You draw my jawline sharper than it is. Vanity or wishful thinking? She bolted upright, heart hammering. The attached photo showed her notebook open on what was unmistakably Damien's bed. Sketches of wedding guests now covered in his messy, arrogant annotations. Her panther sketch had a speech bubble, "Feed me, Nina." She typed back, "How did you get this number, Damien? You left your bag at the venue. Driver's license. Also, you're allergic to cashews. Fascinating." Nina groaned into her pillow the morning after. The delivery arrived at 7:02 a.m. Her notebook, wrapped in black silk, with a first edition Wuthering Heights tucked inside. The title page bore an inscription, "For the woman who writes better storms than Brontë." Nina traced the ink, torn between throwing it out the window and pressing it to her chest. Her phone buzzed again. "Damien, breakfast." "I'll beg." "Nina, only if you admit Hartwell's rejection letter was criminal, Damien." "I'll have the legal team draft a formal apology with reparations." She was still smirking when Lena barged in, waving a tabloid. "What the hell is this?" Front page showed last night's kiss. Captioned, "Billionaire's Wedding Crasher. Who is the mystery woman Damien Rothschild can't keep his hands off?" Nina's stomach dropped. The leak Damien's penthouse smelled like espresso and impending. "Doom. Gregory," he said, tossing the tabloid onto a marble coffee table. "My dear business partner leaked the photos." Nina crossed her arms. "Why?" "Because you're a threat. I mean porter coffee. Black with 2 sugars, exactly how she drank it. I don't date. It's bad for the Ruthless Mogul brand. But you?" His thumb brushed her wrist. "You make me reckless." Nina jerked away. "This isn't a rom-com. That photo could ruin me. My career will flourish." He slid a contract across the table. "Hartwell wants your book. Final offer." Number made her dizzy. "Condition," she whispered. Damien's smile was all teeth. "Let me take you to dinner, real ones. No cameras." The first real date he booked the entire restaurant. Nina expected caviar and champagne. But Damien ordered spicy noodles from a place he used to love before the Michelin star ruined it.
Elmi.
He said, stealing a bite from her plate. "Why? A bookshop? You could have been a full-time writer." "Stories need homes," she said. "Not just shelves." Damien stilled. "Christ. Say things like that, and I'll fund a chain of them." "Don't." She stabbed her chopsticks into the noodles. "I don't want your money." "Then what do you want?" Nina met his gaze. "The truth." "Why me?" Damien leaned in, his lips grazing her ear. "Because you're the first person in a decade who looked at me and saw a man, not an ATM?" The chopsticks clattered from her hand. The interruption, Gregory found them at the door. "We need to talk now." He eyed Nina like a stain. "Alone." Damien's arm tightened around her waist. "Whatever you have to say, say it here." Gregory's smile was venomous. "Fine. The board's emergency vote is tomorrow. They'll freeze your assets if you don't distance yourself from this." Nina flinched. Damien stepped forward, his voice deadly quiet. "Leave. Before I ruin you." As Gregory retreated, Nina pulled away. "I can't do this. I won't be collateral damage in your power play." Damien caught her hand. "Stay fight with me." She yanked free. "You don't even know what that means." The town car idled at the curb. "Take her home," Damien ordered the driver. To Nina, "This isn't over." She slammed the door. Nina's phone exploded at dawn. "Lena, turn on the UNEW." A financial channel played on mute in her tiny kitchen, the ticker at the bottom screaming, "Rothschild Empire in turmoil." Board votes to remove CEO over inappropriate entanglement in the screen. Cut to Gregory, smug in a tailored suit, declaring Damien's judgment is compromised. "We're protecting shareholder interests." Nina's toast turned to ash in her mouth. The first strike Damien's penthouse was a war zone. Legal documents carpeted the floor. 3 lawyers murmured over speakerphone. And Damien's shirt sleeves rolled up. Hair a mess, looked like he hadn't slept. "You shouldn't be here," he said without looking up. Nina dropped the tabloid on his desk. "You're losing your company over me. Over principle." He finally met her eyes. "Gregory's been waiting years for this. You're just the excuse." She stepped closer, then fight back. "How?" A bitter laugh. "He's leaking everything, your debt. Your bookshop's loss is painting you as some desperate. I am desperate. Nina slammed her hands on the desk. But not for your money. For this, she gestured between them. Whatever this is. And if you're really Heathcliff, prove it. Burn it all down. Damien's gaze darkened. You have no idea what you're asking. Try. Me! The leak Gregory's bombshell hit at noon. Exclusive. Nina Vasquez's secret emails reveal plot to trap. Rothschild's The evidence was laughably fake doctored screenshots of her supposedly bragging to Lena. Twitter erupted. Hashtag Gold Digger Nina trended. Nina's bookshop voicemail filled with death threats. Then her landlord called. We're terminating your lease. She was still shaking when Damien's town car screeched to the curb outside her shop. The reckoning Nina expected. Pity she got fury. Damien stormed into her bookshop, trailing 2 bodyguards and a reporter from the Wall Street Journal. Give me your phone, he demanded. What? Now? He took it, opened her banking app, and snapped a photo of her balance. $287.16. Then he handed it to the reporter. Publish this. Along with these. A folder spilled across the counter Gregory's real emails. Proof he'd sabotaged Hartwell's offer to Nina. Proof he'd paid staff to spy on them. The reporter's eyes widened. This is illegal? Damien smiled. So sue me. Nina gaped. You're blowing up your own company? No. He cupped her face. I'm choosing you over the game. The twist the safe house was a brownstone near the river. Here's Damien said, tossing her the keys. Rent-free. For life. Before you argue, he pulled a document from his jacket. Business proposal. You'll own 51%. I'll be your silent partner. Nina scanned the pages. This values my shop at $10 million. It's what you're worth. She threw the papers at him. Stop fixing things. I don't want your guilt money. It's not guilt. He stepped closer. It's faith. The kiss was different this time. Softer, desperate. Nina melted against him, her fingers twisting in his shirt. Then her phone rang. Lena, check the news. Oh my. God, the headline blared. Rothschild resigns. I'll buy it back without a board. Nina looked up. You quit? Damien shrugged. Turns out I'd rather be Heathcliff. The betrayal, the knock, came at midnight. Gregory stood on the porch, his designer suit rumpled, eyes bloodshot. Call him off.
Nina blinked. What?
The SEC investigation. The divorce papers his lawyers sent my wife. It's a fucking IRS audit. Gregory's voice cracked. I'll retract everything. Just make him stop. Nina smiled. You should have known. The door swung wider, revealing Damien behind her, shirtless, holding 2 glasses of wine. He's not the forgiving type, she finished. Gregory paled. Damien kissed Nina's shoulder. Wrong address for begging, Greg. Try hell. He slammed the door. 1 year later, the New York Times Best STH's list dropped at midnight. Nina's face stared back from the #1 spot, her debut novel. All Our Broken Places, outselling every Rothschild publishing title. Lena, Damien must be FUMIA. Nina smirked. Rolling over in bed to face the man himself, Damien's bare chest rose and fell steadily, his lashes casting shadows in the morning light. She traced the tattoo on his ribs, a line from her book, inked the day she'd finished edits. You're awake, he murmured, catching her wrist. Admit it, she whispered. You hate that I beat you. Damien flipped her onto her back, his mouth hovering over hers. I love that you fight me. The gala of the literary awards were a sea of champagne and false smiles. Nina wore emerald green, Damien's favorite color, though she'd die before telling him. Miss Vasquez. A reporter shoved a mic in her face. Rumors say you turned down Rothschild's offer to publish. Across the room, Damien watched. Smirking into his drink, Nina tilted her chin. Some storms are better weathered alone. 2 hours later, she found a note tucked in her clutch. Still think I'm a panther? Dishy scribbled her reply on a cocktail napkin and slipped it into his pocket. No. You're the storm I didn't see coming. The last twist, the after-party raged in Damien's penthouse. Nina escaped to his library, running her fingers along the first edition Wuthering Heights he'd given her. The spine cracked open to a new page one she'd never seen. Tucked inside was a deed for the building housing her bookshop. Aiden. Full. You promised no more grand gestures, she accused as Damien leaned in the doorway. That was before you made me respect you. He crossed the room, dropping to one knee not with a ring, but with a contract. Partners 50-50. His thumb brushed her knuckles. No silent treatment this time. Nina yanked him up by his tie. Counteroffer 60-40, and you never interfere with my edits. Damien's laugh was dark and sweet as he kissed her. Deal. Somewhere in the distance, fireworks exploded over the city. Or maybe it was just them.